Here.
Darcy,
Here.
Riley,
Here.
and Mark. Okay, flag salute tonight. By the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, introductions. Start on this side of the room.
Beverly Cornelius.
Kevin Marine, Director of Human Resources.
Ricky Carter, Food Service Director.
Sarah Phillips. Amy Patton, Karen. Marcy Crowell, Aileen Fluke, Business.
Debbie Thrash, Technology.
All right, thank you. Thank you for attending tonight. Do I hear a motion to approve tonight's agenda? Second. Kate. Kate,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Val?
Yes.
Darcy?
Yes.
And Mike. Okay, and tonight we're not gonna have any superintendent's report, but we'll have a student rep report. Riley, you're up.
Yeah, did you slide it over to that? Yeah. That's perfect. Okay.
Okay, so, coming up very good are what we call okay, perfect. So we are, ASB's helping LIA with that, and I think might be on as well. And then we also do have a canned food drive happening right now, and I think it's close to the end of this week. I want to say, but, we're just, right now, we went over completed how it went, and so we're just focusing on the future things right now, but just a little bit on like ticket sales and whatever. We did have 685 free tickets, which is like 4 times, and then we had to have, we luckily got it, so our principal let us have, people where they could buy it at the door, and at the door they had probably around 100. That gave us quite a few money, more money for us, so we're probably gonna look forward to going to ONC. But yeah, so we're gonna do that. There was a little issue about our court, and we're working it out, but there was only, I think, 2 weeks we'll call it our court this year, and so we're gonna make sure that that gets solved and that we have more diversity. So I think that's about it. Okay, we finally won. I mean. Yeah, everything for them is very well. Few things that, but and then we kind of spoke it. We kind of try to improve things. How was that? I didn't go. I just didn't have a chance, but I don't think it was what they were expecting to do, but they're gonna try to do this kind of post here. So cool.
Nice. It went well. Thank you. Okay, unscheduled public appearance. The board appreciates community members sharing information during public comments. Public comments will be made in person or submitted through the designated form on the webpage. Be read by the district staff or the registered Zoom participant to communicate through the form they wanted to provide their comments live. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes as in the protocol of board meetings. Public criticism or complaints about school personnel are not allowed at this time. And it looks like we have 1 in-person public comment. And I will invite Amy Patton to come to the mic and introduce yourself.
Shall I face the guys here or shall I face the
That's where you do it.
Okay. Well, is this okay? You guys hear me okay? Good evening, school board members. My name is Amy Patton and I am a parent and a community member. On September 22nd, ODE released the spring 2022 test results for Oregon. These test results not only showed that Oregon saw a dramatic drop in test scores, but that Forest Grove School District saw a much more dramatic drop than the rest of the state in 2019. Our district has typically trailed 7% behind the rest of the state, and these new results show we are now roughly 13% behind. Forest Grove School District dropped at a much higher percent than most other school districts, and our children are facing a more dire situation. On September 26th, the school district held a board meeting and said little to nothing about these extremely poor results and the challenges facing our students. Not one single board member asked questions about the recently released scores. I wanted to share with you some of these scores that speak to the educational emergency facing our community and students. So let's start with English. Only 31.6% of Forest Grove students were proficient, a drop of almost 14% from 2019. The worst numbers we're seeing with our fourth graders, where they were only 25.5% proficient, a drop of 18.6%. So of our current fifth graders at Tom McCall, only a quarter of them are proficient in reading and writing. Mathematics showed a much more alarming result, with only 17.6% of all of our students proficient. The most shocking numbers we're seeing in our older students of the 444 eighth graders, only 53 were proficient in math. That's only 12%. These are our high school freshmen right now, and they're only 12% proficient in math. Of the 11th graders, only 13.4% were proficient. So our current seniors are getting ready to graduate and go into the workforce or to go to college, but only 13.4% are proficient in mathematics. That's 56 of them. Unfortunately, the only message we've heard loud and clear in the past few weeks has been surrounding the new bond measure. In Superintendent Parker's September 30th message, there was a vague blurb about ODE's release of the scores without any mention of the actual scores for Forest Grove, nor was there any specific information on what is being done to immediately address the situation. Our community deserves transparency and action from the leaders of Forest Grove School District, especially if you're going to ask for a bond that will significantly increase the living expenses of our community members during this time of historic inflation. Yes, we would all like better buildings, newer buildings. But what is the point of those beautiful new buildings if the children inside those buildings cannot read or write or do math proficiently? I urge you to clearly present to the community the test scores and provide a plan that outlines specific actions that will immediately address this education crisis and improve the outcomes for all students in Forest Grove. I have these scores and I'm happy to provide them for you. I've got some copies if you'd like to see them, but they can also be found on the Oregon Department of Education website under the title Assessment Reports. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Yeah, just a quick comment. I don't think any of us are happy with the scores. And I know that Superintendent Parker is putting together a plan. We aren't at that point yet and to present that plan, but he and John definitely have a plan to address those low scores. And I think I can speak for the board that we're not happy with those scores. We agree on.
And we didn't talk about it in the last public meeting, but we had a public meeting that was available online for our board retreat and we spoke about the test scores. We were concerned about it. We knew it was going to be an issue and it's on our radar for sure. So thanks.
Any other comments?
So I thank you also for advocating this parent and community member along with your peers. We are concerned about it. Absolutely. They're very concerning also for marginalized populations as well. So I appreciate that, and I also appreciate the idea of actually presenting that to the community as well.
Okay.
And I would like to make a comment. Can you hear me, Brad?
Yeah,
Yep.
we can really hear you.
Can hear you better.
In my kitchen, huh? I would just like to say thank you, Amy. It's a big concern of the board at the retreat, and also the goals that were set up this coming year for Dave Parker. The biggest one is the academic progress of our students. And that is the whole focus for the administrators, the principals in the building. It is hands on deck to really work hard I was over at Fern Hill and talking to the principal over there. And he gave me a positive comment on how everyone has really stepped up and are working really hard, the aides, the teachers, as a team. I think sometimes what happens is the public does not see that the board is having discussions with John and Dave. And I'm not making excuses, but I will say the pandemic and the kids not being in the classroom, the shortage of teachers, it's all a contributing factor. And but we feel, and I feel, and I know the board feels that that this is number one priority, that we have to get academic progress for our students and support them in every possible way. And so we have been talking about it. That is part of Dave Parker's goals this year, that we have to make academic progress for these students. So that was just my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Okay, without any further ado, we'll move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda is made up of routine, non-parent controversial items to be voted on under one motion. Are there any items in the consent agenda that we need to address individually that the superintendent and the board want to pull out?
Just wanna
On
say-
one other comment. On the personnel hiring recommendation on September 26, 2022, Sophia Reyes was hired as a 4th grade DL teacher. Dual language at Echo Shaw. And she will be on the sheet, it said Echo Shaw, but she will be a Cornelius. Okay, is that correct? Yes.
Correct.
Ooh, good job. Okay.
Okay, I move that we, the consent agenda as.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. I second.
Okay, the motion is seconded and we'll vote on it. Kate,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Val,
Yes.
Darcy,
Yes.
Miley. Okay. All right, we'll move on to action and we'll move to 2023-24 board superintendent operating agreements that we've gone through for the last at least a couple of months and are ready to go. I need a motion.
I move that we approve the 2022-2023 board superintendent operating agreements as presented.
Second. And it's been moved and seconded and we'll vote. Kate?
Yes.
I mean, yes. Val?
Yes.
Darcy?
Yes.
Miley?
Yes.
Okay, and those operating agreements have moved on and passed. Second, 2022-23 board goals. Board goals are online. You can see those board goals and you probably notice academic instructions right at the top of those board goals. Okay, at this smaller class size. If I could get a motion to adopt those board goals.
So move.
In a second,
Second.
and then we will vote. Kate?
Yes.
Yes. Val?
Yes.
Darcy?
Yes.
And our board goals as presented have passed.
We forgot.
Miley.
Miley, I'm sorry, Miley.
Yeah.
What do you think, Miley? Yes. Okay. All right. District Financial Oversight Committee.
So tonight we have the District Financial Oversight Committee Board representation. This committee is required as part of this committee, and 2 board members is required as part of our audit requirements to manage the financial risk overall for the district. So tonight we're seeking 2 board members to serve on the committee. It'll meet 3 to 4 times this year between November and May.
And I spoke with Mark. Mark and I would be happy to serve on that.
You guys did it last year?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
Okay, is that all right?
Thank
That's
you.
fine.
Okay, can we get a motion?
I move that we appoint Brad and Mark to serve on the financial oversight committee.
Okay. Second,
Second.
and we'll vote. Kate?
Yes.
I'm a yes, Val,
Yes.
and Narcy,
Yes.
and Mike. Okay. Next one, district budget committee.
So tonight we also have the district budget committee's interview process. The budget committee is a committee of the board, and annually, typically the board interviews any candidates and then recommends candidates to fill those vacancies to the board as a whole. Interviews are scheduled for December 5th through the 9th, and at this time, we're looking for 2 board members to serve on the interview committee.
I don't mind serving on that one.
I'll serve too.
Okay,
Okay, so I move that we appoint myself and Kate to serve as the interview committee for budget committee candidates.
Second.
and we will vote now. Kate,
Yes,
I'm a yes, Val,
Yes.
and Narcy,
Yes.
and Mike. Three in a row. You're up.
All right, last is the bond owners representative services, RFP 2205. We published the RFP for bond owners representative, that will be for the 22 bond this November if it passes. We sought out qualified firms that'll do the, help support the district in planning, designing, and construction of the capital projects that are in this proposed bond. This allows us to start contract negotiations and finalize that. So as soon as if the bond passes, then we'll go ahead and hit the ground running. If not, we don't owe anything. Anything that they provide us ahead of time will be volunteer. So we wouldn't owe anything unless the bond passes. So at this time, it would help us be able to get and prepare all of our RFPs and get everything ready. So we don't have any delay. We had 2 proposals, Cornerstone Management Group and RNC. Both of them submitted very qualified firms, and they were scored on their organizational structure, firm history and capacity, what local involvement they're going to have with our community and local businesses, their past K-12 audit experience, their staffing plan. But after careful review of both proposals and interviews, the scoring committee and evaluation committee is recommending to award the RFP to the Cornerstone. So,
Any questions? Right.
I have some questions. Does the Cornerstone? excuse me. No, that's big.
Gold.
Yeah. Do they have an equity measure? We've had a situation 2 weeks ago with a bond community meeting where the Latinx community was not engaged, and I received a lot of angry calls. So I just want to make sure that there's equity with this and that they're actually doing the true local involvement.
that was one of the big conversations that we had with Cornerstone, and they are actually getting contract out with a third party to help us in all of the communication and outreach and the whole bond process to make sure that our RFPs and our bidding and everything helps support business of the minority, and it helps support our local community, engages with our local community, all of our communities. So that was a big reason on going with Cornerstone, is their approach in community involvement and outreach.
Including parents.
Yes.
Any other questions, Brandon? Okay.
I move that we approve Cornerstone Management Group Incorporated to be awarded the RFP 22-05 bond owners representative services for Forest School District pending successful contract negotiation.
Fair second? Second?
There you go.
You want me to be second? Be a second. All right, we'll vote. Kate,
Yes,
I'm a yes. Well,
Yes.
Marcy,
Yes.
and that passes.
Yeah.
And Miley. All right, so with that, are there any future action items that needs to be discussed tonight or that we need to add to the list?
I would just like to go over the enrollment sheet quickly. If, John, you have a copy there?
That's next, Kate.
Oh, that's next. All right, sorry. Did I jump the gun?
You're fine. No, go ahead.
That was a good lead.
That's a good segue.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was looking at this, John, under Tomacall East, the school, and it's 5th grade. And there's one class that's 34 and the rest are 26, 27, 30, 29, 28. So, why is that class 34? That seems not balanced.
I knew you were going to ask, so I brought the sheet.
Good.
We have been working with the schools for balancing, and some of our classes are higher than others, particularly the dual language program. There aren't as many classes to spread students across for the dual language program. So we're still working with Tom McCall, Summer Johnson, to look at that number 34, because that is higher than any other number from kindergarten up to 6th grade. So
Right, I think the sheet, the class sizes look very good, especially kinder through 3rd grade, but that just sort of stood out. And is Harvey Clark at capacity with 425?
Are they at capacity?
Are they at capacity? I mean, how many can they have at Harvey Clark?
Well, looking at the bond presentation that I did twice this week or last week, once for Daybreak Rotary and once for the NAMS parent night, they do have room comparatively speaking to Cornelius Elementary. That's by far our most impacted elementary school. But it's all relative in terms of class size.
Mhm.
And programs, special programs that we have at Harvey Clark.
Okay, that was all that I was, the online program, there's only 34 students. So are we going to allow those kids to stay in that program for the year?
That's an ongoing discussion that we have. We said that we would go ahead and take a look at that at the trimester for grades 1 through 4 and 5, 6 is a semester. So we wanted that as a safety net, just in case the pandemic or other illness. We wanted it right as an option for our parents. But that is definitely an ongoing discussion.
Well, go ahead.
We have 3, and last year we had 6 in those grade levels. We cut it down to 3 and they're blended. So one is doing 1, 2, another teacher is doing 3, 4, and another teacher is doing 5, 6. And 5, 6 is the largest at this point, 16. But when we went to the start of the school year, those numbers were significantly higher. But we saw parents transition to the brick and mortar schools of our district as the health and safety concerns have dropped off significantly. So
maybe at our next meeting, we give a report on where we are with that 34 student class and then the online program to see what the next step.
Absolutely.
We're kind of getting that area where we need to make a decision. For this can go out, get around. Absolutely.
Yep, we'll do it.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
John, I have one more question is, are other districts keeping an online program like Hillsborough and Beaverton because of illness and, the flu is going to come up and, COVID isn't totally gone away. I think this is a really nice option for parents, even though the numbers are low. I'd like us to keep it if it's cost effective.
Agreed. And in speaking with a few of these parents, the teachers have had some in-depth discussions, for forecasting for this year. And many are truly committed to online option. I worry about if we do take away the online option, but we might lose them to Orbit or other online options surrounding area. To answer your question, Kate, I'm not sure about Beaverton. I know for a fact Hillsborough has had an online school for quite some time. And to my knowledge, they're continuing that this year. But that predated COVID and the pandemic.
Does Banks or Gaston offer online?
I don't believe so, but I would need to double check. I can bring that to the next board meeting.
Okay,
Sound good?
thank you.
Well,
Any other questions about enrollment at all? Or the financial report? No? Any other comments or? Okay, with that being said, I will call this meeting at 5:56. And thank you for coming. Yeah, all right.